millimeter bolt-on spacers. It is running, they got about 2.5-inch lip. I'm running 195/35s on the front and 215/35s on the rear, both brand new tires. And it's also got J30 brakes on it, which are the same size as Z32. They just don't say Nissan, and they're not top load. They're 2-piston instead of 4-piston, but they brake, you know, on a 2,500 pound car, you don't really need all that. So it's, you know, it stops just as good as a Z32 in my opinion, because I used to have an S14 that had Z32 brakes. We've also got stainless steel caliper lines running off of that, some eBay coilovers that came with the car when I originally got it. They are, you know, they work, they're coilovers, but they're not damper adjustable, they're only height adjustable, but they ride all right. We've also got a thicker sway bar up front with poly bushings and GK Tech poly end links, as well as adjustable tension rods, and the lower control arms have been cut and welded for a 25mm extension, and they've got an S14 lower ball joint pressed in, as these are S14 spindles. So they also have the spacers for the bolts that they sell on Injuku, and we're running S14 tie rods, inner with outer TN tie rod ends for the tie rods. As well, everything up under here, like I said, we coated it all in bed liner when all the suspension and everything was out, so that's all fresh and coated and good for rust protection, etc. Moving on, the only things I reused on the engine, I did reuse an old alternator, and it's working. It tested fine, bench tested at work. We do have a VLS oil pressure gauge installed. I'll show you that on the interior in a minute. It's a Wiring Specialties harness that cost me about $700. The injectors I also reused. This is an S14 intake, so it doesn't have the butterfly valves. And we swapped over to all S13 sensors. It's got a brand new knock sensor on it too. Water pump is brand new. Thermostat as well is brand new. We've got ISR hoses to an aftermarket aluminum radiator with the coolant, the overflow tank for the coolant from Circuit Sports there. And let's see, we've also got the crank pulley down there, which is from ISR, I believe. We've also got excessive power steering delete kit going on, and we've looped the power steering there. Just, it feels fine on the road actually. Everybody said it would feel kind of whatever, but it actually felt fine to me. The steering response was really snappy in this thing. I was really happy with that. We've got ISR 421 headers. These were brand new. They've just changed color on me, and I actually have a video of them changing color as well. The transistor coil is new, as well as the module for it. And we're running a Z32 brake master cylinder for those bigger brakes, with the auto brake booster for the best performing, you know, brake combination setup you can have. We've got brand new hard lines ran off the brakes, and we've also got an Exidy slave cylinder with stainless steel line down to a brand new OEM slave, or master cylinder for the clutch rather, down to the new OEM slave. It's running a hard body D21 clutch and flywheel setup, clutch from Exidy as well, with the new throwout bearing and all that. That's because it's 20mm bigger than the stock flywheel, so you get more surface area for it doesn't slip as bad if you're putting more torque on it. All the EGR stuff was deleted, but again, this engine, you know, took a crap on me yesterday, and the block cracked and everything. It threw a rod, so we drove it for about 40 minutes and it threw a rod on this new engine, unfortunately. We've also got brand new fuel filter, and all the lines, fuel hoses, rubber hoses are new. All coolant rubber hoses are new. All PCV intake hoses, all that is also all new. I cleaned the IACV controls down, broke them apart with all the springs and everything, cleaned them. The car used to be SR, so it's actually got the holes down here and the clearance for a intercooler if you wanted to go SR. We've also got the electronic fans, and we've got Poly Circuit Sports bushings for the engine and the transmission. The transmission is an SR transmission that I put a KA bell housing on, and I actually have the SR transmission over in my tools, so it can come with the SR bell housing, I mean, over with my tools, so it can come with the SR bell housing if you wish. We've also got GK Tech side mirrors, and move this way, you can see my hand reflection fade there off the door and just go completely out. So it still needs clear coat, and that's why it looks, you know, a little hazy on the paint. But moving inside, I redid the headliner in suede, and I also redid the I've got the sun visors inside. I haven't put them on yet, but I redid the glove box in leather as well. Crackless dash, of course. It goes into gear and everything fine. I'll show you in just a second. I do have there was no body harness when I got it, so all the wiring for the interior is down here. These are all the lighting switches, and it's all labeled so you know what's what. Everything's fused power with the battery in the trunk. Moving on, we've got the NX cluster here. We've also got the VLS oil pressure gauge, and I have videos of all this working. The hazard switch works like it does from the factory. The windshields work on one setting, the wipers I mean, and the stock turn signal switch operates the headlights and turn signals like normal, as well as brights. The check engine light does work on the cluster, as well as the belt light and charging light and all other main lights. The interiors also, we've got the cigarette lighter works too. I've got it plugged up to work. We do have the S14 seats. I got new floor mats. They're real dirty from yesterday getting stranded on the highway, but new floor mats. It's all been coated in bed liner from here back. We did paint door jambs and all that good stuff. Rear seats are also from the S14 black leather, and they've been modified to fit back here. And the only reason I have a cover on this seat is because it's starting to tear up on me, so he does need to be recovered. I'm just trying to protect it, you know, as much as possible there. So yeah, we've got the Tomy shift knob in there as well. Moving on, there's a custom kind of rear deck I made there, and we've got the bash bar back here, as well as the ISR exhaust, and there's actually a high flow cat from MagnaFlow under there as well. You can see the poly there on the transmission. All the new tie rod bellows and boots there. Poly bushings on it there. And the ISR stainless lines off the rack on the back side. So, yep, and there it goes, dripping oil from the rods. But like I said, all this up here was coated when it was out of the car. You can see all the undercoating, maybe if I can get the right angle on things. There we go. So everything's been coated up under here. Here we go, now we can really see what's going on. So here's everything up under the car. I cleaned the subframe off best I could. Didn't get it absolutely clean, but still those same coilovers in the rear, and we're running the there we go. We're got solid subframe bushing risers in it. We've also got all adjustable links back here in the rear, new OEM axles, going to those J30 rear hubs, which also have poly bushings all in them. If you can, I can't see where I'm holding the phone up there, so I think I got it, but there's the J30 6-bolt diff as well with the white line bushings on it. The rest of the exhaust, bigger sway bar back here, again with poly links, or poly bushings on everything. There's stainless steel brake lines in the rear as well. I'm not sure if you can see, I'm just gonna kind of guess, but there's all the new brake line stuff, and maybe if I tilt it the right way, you can see the new fuel lines too. There's just a breather ran off the back, tucked up in there for the tank to breathe. And you can see the gas tank all coated, nice and new here as well. Like I said when we had it out, so even the top side of things has been recoated. And so in the trunk, we do have a 18-inch spare to match the 18-inch wheels in case you get a flat. Battery is relocated right over here with the main battery cutoff breaker. And then, like I said, we've also got, you know, everything covered in bed liner and another. This is all the engine related stuff to turn it on. Where all my wiring comes through up behind the dash and over to all that, which I hadn't taped all that up really yet and stuff either, but yeah, let's go look at the we can go look at the and the heat works too. It's got a brand new heater core in it, and I redid all the foam on all the HVAC. Again, all this documented on Nico. My binder I've kept that has everything in it. We've got a bunch of receipts. We've also got an itemized list of all the things on the car that are brand new. Most of it is a lot of general maintenance parts and just general parts, but some are also upgraded parts. But they are all brand new, is really the thing, and they're brand new down to wheel bearings, down to even the little oil pressure check valve in the engine and all that. Of course, it did throw that rod, so you know you may not want to do all that. If you're not wanting to do another KA, this is probably not for you, because you're going to be paying a lot for a KA car and wanting to swap it, and you're going to be really in debt. Now that's only the total at the end of this list. And I still have, like, where I ordered the exhaust and everything else. And let's see, what was this for? This was the, the wiring specialties and all that, and how much the wiring specialties came out to be. And then we've got more stuff here. Another 600 on all the, or 700 there on all the exhaust. And another 2.